Happy Sabbath to you, our viewers. Welcome to Hope Channel Zambia, television that changes lives. It's now time for the news, and to present it, my name is Delaine K Mayuka. My sign language interpreter is George KalimukwaHope. Join me as we look at our headlines. Lack of a dormitory at Mulungwe School compel pupils to sleep in a classroom. MP calls farmers not to sell all their maize to agencies. EZF president calls to end malaria. SID and AWR pay courtesy call to Hope Channel Zambia. Join me for the details after this.
Seventh-day Adventists are wonderful people living with the blessed hope of the second coming of Jesus as King of the universe. The great desire of the church is to reach the world for Jesus and witness about his love and salvation for mankind. The just-ended General Conference session retaliated this unique mandate of mission to the world through the strategic plan that continues to hover upon each member's commitment to service by saying, "I will go." As we join hands together, we can also say, "We will go together." In his presidential message to all readers of the Southern Star, Dr. Vani Munyumbwe appeals that we all need to embrace the current renewed emphasis on total member involvement as a call to every member and level of the church to find ways of putting every hand to the gospel plow and set many souls to work. Among many other interesting articles and highlights of God's marvelous acts covered in this edition of the Southern Star, you will find the vision statement of the newly elected Southern African Indian Ocean Division President's message so meaningful and timely as he talks about the deliberate approach to territorial realignment, unity of purpose, stewardship emphasis, and evangelism as the main mission of the church. There you are. Feel free to get yourself an electronic copy of the magazine today by simply sending a WhatsApp message of request to 0979 624 559. Southern Star, sounding the gospel message.
Thank you for joining us, and now here is the news in detail. The absence of a dormitory at the newly upgraded Mulungwe Secondary School in Mukushi District has compelled learners to sleep in a classroom. This was disclosed by Chief Mulungwe of the Lala-speaking people of Mukushi District when Mukushi Town Council Secretary Emmanuel Lukupwa, accompanied by District Commissioner Jonathan Kapungwe, visited him at his palace. His Royal Highness further bemoaned lack of clean and safe drinking water in the chiefdom. He has since appealed to government to address the said challenges. Details in this report.
It was an official visit to Chief Shaibila and Mulunga chiefdoms by Mukushi Council Secretary Emmanuel Lukupwa. The Council Secretary was accompanied by Mukushi District Commissioner Jonathan Kapungwe and other officials from the Council. During a meeting, Chief Mulungwe highlighted some challenges in the chiefdom, which included lack of clean and safe drinking water. He further mentioned the lack of a dormitory at the newly upgraded Mulungwe Secondary School has compelled learners to sleep in a classroom. Meanwhile, the Council Secretary and the District Planning Officer said development was on its way once integrated development plan is formulated.
Kuri mulimo twamba turepanga integrated development plan yadi bamwifunde yakobati district yonse ifire yakwata integrated development plan IDP ila leta bonse ama players bonse aba development not that wa education nabakwata plan yabo, wa health nabakwata plan yabo, wa agriculture nabakwata plan yabo, IDP bonse tufatwa start plan chapa monesha mfumo kumu
amaskuru tayakwete mitenge bwino tayakwete furniture if pata tafikwete ama beddings bwino fyonse fyo. I think ama problems nayo mfuika mkwai bantu ocho twatambira ko turefa first twishe ushe if the background finishe.
There is a lot to be done in terms of development, especially in rural areas. Reporting for Hope News in Mkushi District, I'm Joseph Siambehi.
Thank you, Joseph, for that report. We now go to Msanzala, where the area member of parliament, Elias Daka, has warned farmers not to sell all their farm produce to the Food Reserve Agency. Mr. Daka said farmers need to be careful as they sell their maize harvest and store enough for consumption. Hope Channel TV reports that Mr. Daka made these remarks during interactive meetings with local people of Mwanda Ward in Lusangazi district of Eastern Province. Mr. Daka notes the rate which people are selling their maize to mobile buyers and Food Reserve Agency is worrisome. The lawmaker says food shortage is likely to hit the district because of poor rainfall pattern for the 2021-2022, which affected maize. He called on farmers to ensure that they have enough food in stock which can sustain them till the next farming season. Mr. Daka fears that this might cause food insecurities if not properly handled by the farmers. Meanwhile, some farmers interviewed in Mwandi Ward of Lusangazi district have called on government to quickly send relief food as most of farmers depend on bush roots. We have more in the following story.
Kamba kakutifataleza wesherwa kuwera ndiponso mvula sinachite bwino simwamene koma tepe zako twachakulya patonto tilinazo vakulya boma yakamba kuti na nepano lero nikuza nikuti musagulise vakulya chifukwa kusogolo kukutukuya situziva njala mwitibere muno msiko nambe kabwinayi chifukwa seta yakene tusirija kugulisa chimanga nogula mahonda ayakene ogula magari moto ayakene okwatira vipali ndaba agulisa chimanga oleka nakazi wao oyamba zambe kabwinayi so tenjikeko nzeru kuti tipewe njala chifukwa mainzi akawera tukondovutika sewa ntitukhala kuno kuma jera yakuma village zambe kabwinayi
kuno kwati kuli njala yoipa tikwana mafertilizer nangono era bajali mafertilizer akakolola funo guli lomba ife tibe fertilizer tina njala pali pano wena tinamba kalogona na njala zileko boma pankani ya njala tipaseko vakudya njala ngako bishewere byechite bwino kuli njala tulala njala nalomba pano tusitosakira mpama mbachino chaka mpama uliyechite bwino woneka lini msanga mutikumbukireko boma itithandize kuti sete bantu tithandizike ngabane ambakale kupula tumango tuisi twakulya tulala njala sio tusagira mipama njala yevo kuno kwasu iliko ngako so tutempa boma kuti tithandizeko.
The Independent Broadcasting Authority and Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, CCPC, today released a joint statement over DSTV's non-reduction of the subscription price, as most Zambians have been calling for a reduction due to the kwacha appreciation. In their statement, IBA and CCPC say that they have followed with keen interest the complaints that have been publicly made against MultiChoice Zambia, commonly referred to as DSTV. The public have over the past days raised complaints over non-reduction of the DSTV subscription despite the appreciation of the kwacha, repeating of programs and shows on DSTV, ZMBC channels not being available on the DSTV bouquet when subscription has expired, and provisions of pay-per-view television. IBA and CCPC said there are specific laws that provide for price regulation as evident in the energy, telecommunication, and transportation sectors. However, the duo disclosed that there is no such legal framework to regulate prices apart from forces of demand and supply, and that they do not have control over scheduling and which channels are included or excluded. The duo further advised consumers to always inquire or seek audience with their service providers and regulators to understand the product or service they are consuming. We remain committed to ensuring that consumers are protected, competition is promoted, and the business is allowed to operate freely in a liberal economy like Zambia, devoid of unwarranted regulatory interventions, the duo said. In other news, Ministry of Youth, Sport and Arts Minister Elvis Nkandu has called on artists to take the film industry seriously if it is to yield good fruits. He said this during the launch of the first ever Zambian Oscars in Lusaka yesterday. Mr. Nkandu noted that the film industry is characterized with disorganization. He has since called for seriousness amongst its players as the industry is key in poverty reduction and job creation. More in this report.
In an effort to see the art industry in the country reach greater heights, Youth, Sport and Arts Minister Elvis Nkandu has challenged all players in the industry to exercise utmost seriousness.
I want also to challenge you, the artists yourselves. I'll not be shy to state that we have a very disorganized industry, and it is important that we start to be organized as an industry. Collaboration is very key. It's like everyone is just working alone. So I think it is important that you play a critical role, you associations, to make sure that you organize the unorganized.
The film industry has the potential of revamping the economic status of the country.
We should look at arts as something that could create employment amongst the young people. And I think we are motivated by that as government. And if we look at arts as something that could create employment amongst the young people, then we do expect this industry to improve. And also, we are also looking at arts as also something that could reduce poverty amongst the youth and also amongst the artists themselves. The film industry should therefore not be taken as secondary, because it has the potential of making positive economic gains for all its players.
Speaking when he officiated at the Oscars Award Committee launch, Honorable Nkandu disclosed that government, under his ministry, is currently working on a film policy which will see the industry grow.
You might be aware that my ministry is putting in place a film policy whose aim is to develop the film industry and ensure its growth. As such, the coming in of the Zambia Oscars Committee fits in positively with government's thinking and will really impact a broad spectrum of talented Zambians from across the country working in the film industry.
Daniel Chilema, reporting for Hope News in Lusaka.
Thank you, Daniel, for that report. East Zambia Field President Pastor Venancio Sakala has called on church members to take keen interest in the fight against malaria. Pastor Sakala says the church has partnered with the Ministry of Health to fight and end malaria in Eastern Province. He says the fight against malaria should not be left to Ministry of Health alone, but every church member should take an active role in the fight. Details in the following story.
Zambia remains a high endemic malaria country, with the entire population considered to be at risk of contracting malaria. Zambia is among the 20 countries with the highest malaria incidence and mortality globally. Malaria has for a long time remained the leading cause of morbidity and mortality, and also a major public health problem in Zambia, despite significant progress made in fighting the disease in the last decade. Malaria prevalence varies across all provinces and districts. People at risk include the most vulnerable groups, such as pregnant women and children. It is therefore that this fight cannot be left alone by government to eradicate malaria. It is in this vein that the churches in Eastern Province, including the STA, has partnered with government to fight malaria by forming a task group. East Zambia Field President Pastor Venancio Sakala said the aim of the task force is to sensitize church members on how they can prevent themselves from malaria. Pastor Sakala made these remarks in Chipata district at the ongoing CAP meetings.
Faith Leaders Advocacy for Malaria Eradication. Kunapezeka kuti nkhani ya malaria ikhale nkhani yali yense ndinaitwa mipingo takwapo, so ngati kwankhala nthawi yolandira makombe maneti onani kuti machechi members alandi ako komanso ugona mukombe ugona malaria, so chamawa ndizokuzakhala kufafaza mankhwala manyumba osakana iya ngati mwakana uzani wa elda zauza iye tikabwera ukulalikirani ubwino uchayani ufafaza mnyumba. Haleluya. So babamanyi bamipingo takamba kuti tikwepo mukuona kuti nkhani ya malaria isakhala yabe ba Ministry of Health koma niye tonse chifukwa ngati munthu adwala ni church member na mpingo nawo uli mavuto. Haleluya. Imwe ngati mwaona munthu akulisa ntchito pombe mjera sayenera nicho yanu yokamba naye zambeka mukangomba chabe zionetsero zakuti mwadwala malaria pitani ku chipatala mukapimidwe osamwa mankhwala chosapimidwa yayi. Uyu ndiye kutenga wa malaria umene uzambotifika mu mbali zonse za umoyo wathu. Mafumu azambokambako, azibusa azambokambako.
Meanwhile, some attendees had this to say.
Here at our campsite, we've not been camping for the past 2 years because of the COVID era that had hit our country, hence we are on due to that reason. But having this camp meeting after a long time is really a blessing for those of us that have felt to camp due to different challenges. Next camp meeting, I encourage you to attend.
2022 msonkhano wakhala wowamiza kwambiri kotero kuti tikuyembekezera kuti chaka chamawa 2023 ambuye akatilola kuti tikachitezo msonkhano usaposapa chifukwa
vantu sivanaruzindikira kuti kapena chaka chino tingakhale na msonkhano. Chifukwa chake pamene vanamva kuti tizakhala na camp meeting vantu wonse vanakondwera ndiponso talandira ma messages yosiyana yabwino
kudalisa ndi mauthenga osiyana kuyembera mawa masana ngakhale mazulu muja kupyola maphunziro litudya ambuye akudalisa nafe ali kudalisa ndi mauthenga osiyana.
Camp meetings should be used to bring hope and prepare people for the soon return of Jesus Christ. Sambo David for Hope News, Chipata.
We now pause for a commercial break, but when we return, Lusaka Central Church District resume camp meeting and Adventists urged to learn to prepare healthy meals. Don't go away.
The board and management of Mayuka Adventist Mission Hospital in Kalabo, Western Province, Zambia is inviting applications for the position of hospital administrator at Mayuka Adventist Mission Hospital. Applicants should meet the following requirements in order to be shortlisted for interviews. 1. Should have a grade 12 school certificate or equivalent with a bachelor's degree in business administration, finance, accounting or related field. 2. Should have experience in health care management of a recognized institution. 3. Understanding of project management will be an added advantage. 4. Team builder with sound interpersonal skills and ability to network with other partners. 5. Age not more than 50 years, if not currently employed as denominational worker. 6. Applicants from within and outside the country should be willing to work under church conditions within Southern Zambia Union Conference. 7. Should be well recommended as one having a strong commitment to the values, vision, and mission espoused by Mayuka Adventist Hospital. Key responsibilities for Mayuka Adventist Hospital Administrator. 1. To provide overall supervision over staff and patients while promoting a conducive environment professionally and spiritually. 2. To serve as liaison officer among governing bodies such as government, NGOs, and the church. 3. To oversee the development and implementation of relevant programs and policies for patient care, quality assurance, and departmental activities. 4. To mobilize financial, technical, and human resource for the operations and sustainability of the hospital. 5. To prepare, implement, and periodically review the financial plans of the hospital in consultation with the governing board. Applications with CVs and contact details of at least 2 traceable referees should reach the Executive Secretary, Southern Zambia Union Conference, P.O. Box 31309, Lusaka, not later than August 31st, 2022, using the following email addresses: stumbaetom@gmail.com, amybukowa@gmail.com. For inquiries, please reach us on 0977 346516 or 0973 128883 or 0979 684746.
Thank you for still staying with us. We continue with the news. The Lusaka Central Church of the Seventh-day Adventists have resumed their camp meeting in Lusaka's Bauleni area. Church pastor Abinari Mugwagwa disclosed to Hope News in an interview that the church did not have a camp meeting for the past 2 years due to COVID-19. A check by Hope News crew found campers attending the midday men's service. More in this report.
The devil. Laban said, since you wanted to go and worship your God, why did you take my gods? Is the devil not asking this question to some families here? To some parents here? Some of the things that end up happening in our families, no matter how many times you are going to pray, they will not stop because the devil has his boosters in certain families. And that's why the network is always there for him.
Over 300 campers have decided to stay away from all the distractions at home to attend the camp meeting. Camping revitalizes people's relationship with their God, families, and friends. This is what the Lusaka Central Church of the Seventh-day Adventists believe in. For the past 2 years, the church did not manage to hold their camp meetings due to the advent of COVID-19. The church has resumed its annual camp meeting. Abinari Mukwakwa is the church pastor of Lusaka Central.
But because of COVID, we had gone on break and, Central Church, we never camped. So this is our first camping ever since we had the COVID. And the Lord is so merciful and gracious with us that as we have resumed, we have seen numbers of people coming to camp with us, unlike previous before COVID. So this tells us that people were longing to have their association and fellowship with one another and with our God. Still trying to see which is more convenient. This is the first time also we are camping in August. Our camping date or month is April. But also members now experience another kind of month camping. So we need to compare and see which is the very conducive so that we can take on that. But I can see, many are saying they have not seen anything wrong with August. It's something that they have enjoyed. The weather is conducive. There are no rains and there's no worrying. It's only maybe wind and all that. But for sure, even in April, you can have wind. You cannot have control over nature.
Pastor Mukwakwa says for the first time, the church has decided to come together with their guest speakers.
We have come together with our speakers. We have Dr. Mbiriri and his wife as the speaker for the adults, and we have Pastor Kakwisa for the youths, and we have Pastor Utete, who is getting the early teens, and we have Pastor Habunga, who are getting the teens, and we have Pastor Dingan Mfune with the children. It's so amazing. Also, the children came in numbers. We have not had such kind of attendance in a long time.
One of the campers says he is elated that camp meetings have resumed.
It's so thrilling after missing for 2 consecutive years. You may wish to know that since I became an Adventist, 1983, I've never missed a camp meeting. It's one of those things that you always plan for. It comes once in a year, so I always plan for camp meeting. Yeah, I wish to encourage them that next time, as we start planning for next year, planning is now. They should camp. It's just once in a year. For those in formal employment, put your leave days on this week so that you come and sit at the feet of Jesus and get re-energized.
Lusaka Central Church Camp Meeting is running under the theme, It's Time to Go. Esna Tsikazwa, Hope News, Lusaka.
Well, Well done, Lusaka Central Church. May all the campers be blessed. Mimosa Seventh-day Adventist Church Health Department held a cookery day with Chef Owen from Riverside to equip members of the church with skills that will enable them prepare healthy meals. Leader of the health department, Eunice Chilala, said that they decided to come up with a program so as to promote healthy living through healthy foods. Speaking at the same event, elder in charge of the health department, David Banda, called on all members of the church to take up a step and learn how to prepare good meals both for church and their respective families. Mr. Banda expects organizations like AMO to stand up and take to the kitchen to prepare good food. Meanwhile, Mr. Owen Zimba, a chef from Riverside Farm Institute, encouraged members to practice the skills they acquired, citing that most lifestyle diseases are caused by poorly prepared foods. Mr. Zimba also called on other communities and churches who would want to learn how to prepare healthy foods to buy the recipe book. Participants of the workshop told Hope News that they were delighted to have acquired such skills. We have details in the following story.
Mimosa Seventh-day Adventist Church Health Department organized what they called Cookery Day. The program was aimed at equipping members with cookery skills that would enable them prepare health meals for their families. Chef Owen from Riverside Farm Institute took members through various recipes.
Green apple ninayo, lemon ninayo, beetroot ilipo, turmeric ilipo, ginger ilipo, carrots ilipo, garlic ilipo na cucumber. Yeah, my ingredients now, my blender, and we my immediate after my blender, we need keeping a fridge, we my direct on the empty stomach. And we my every day for 1 month. Then to grow the film uterus is assumed to see.
Mimosa SDA Church Health Coordinator, Sister Eunice Jilala, explains why they organized this event.
So we opted to come up with this idea so that we can help our members or remind each other to say the benefits of the food is in natural foods.
Elder in charge of healthy, Mr. David Banda, says it is important for members of the church to learn how to prepare health foods for the church and their families. Mr. Banda has since called on members to implement the skills they have acquired.
So your health is your wealth, your health is your choice.
Amen.
You don't want to lead a life long enough but full of suffering. And so this is why we are, as the health department, as the leaders put it, they are striving to ensure that every member, as much as you come to church, you should be also in good health. Otherwise, there's no way you have connection with heaven if your mind is clogged up. We want to see Amo prepare food for the church next time. Not always sister this one, no. Because as long as you eat, then you must know how to prepare what you have to eat. You will not always be someone who is going to prepare it for you. So this is the reason why we want to encourage everyone to take a step to practice something.
Hope TV News caught up with some of the attendees who aired their views.
And also, I have learned how to make cheese sauce. I just used to see it, but I never knew how to make it. And today, I've learned.
We learned on how to prepare meat substitute, which we can eat. This is prepared from the natural food that we have around us, in place of the actual meat from the kettles, or any other meat that we do enjoy.
Mr. Owen Zimba, fondly known as Chef Owen, explains the importance of having health foods.
Just want to let you know that there's a lot that you should be thinking about when you have these diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, stroke, or lifestyle diseases. There's a lot that you can do, and the first step to do is to change your lifestyle. Do you have a community? Do you have a church? are you individual, whereby we ask people to come and then ask us to come and demonstrate to them and prove to them to say this is how we could make these recipes easy and help the people who are facing these challenges.
They concluded the seminar by reciting their slogan.
I am what I eat. You are what you eat. We are what we eat. Jesus!
Jonya Grant reporting for Hope TV News, Zilanga.
Interesting story there. We move on to yet another interesting story where the Southern Indian Ocean Africa Division SID leadership and Adventist World Radio Africa director paid a courtesy call to Hope Channel Zambia in Lusaka today. SID Communication Director and Media Noel Sibanda said it is encouraging to see Hope Channel Zambia grow since its inception. Mr. Sibanda said SID will continue to partner with Hope Channel Zambia and other countries across the world. And SID Advanced World Radio Africa Director Pastor Emmanuel Imago said SID is planning on having more presence on both radio and television stations so that people can be reached in places that people have not yet touched. SID Traffic Scheduling and Web Manager Dadich Talu says SID is preparing to launch a new device that will have all Hope Channel stations that are on satellite from across the world. We join our reporter for details in this story.
Southern Indian Ocean Africa Division SID officers visited Hope Channel Zambia in the early hours of today in Lusaka. The entourage took time to tour the Hope Channel Zambia studios in the company of Hope Channel Zambia production and technical managers. This visit is aimed in readiness of opening Hope Channel Uganda.
I'm so happy that, when Hope Channel Zambia was set up, we also one of the people who were here to support Hope Channel Zambia. And it's so amazing to see how they are growing in terms of equipment. I see now they have 4K equipment, which is very, very encouraging. But also the most important thing is content, because in television, content is king. And I'm so happy to see that, Tamara and the team, Dr. Chiwena, they are producing quite a lot of programs. We are also producing television programs at Seed Media for Hope Channel Africa and Hope Channel International, and we have got that exchange of programming. So very soon we'll be sending them programs like Money Matters, Let Us Reason Together, Chosen Generation, and Rhythm of Life, which is quite very exciting programs. And I must say that Seed Media has produced one of the first drama series called Isinqumo Summer, which is going to be airing on Hope Channel International and Hope Channel Africa. And we are here also to share with Hope Channel Zambia. Like I said, content is very, very important. So we want to make sure that, we feed also Hope Channel Zambia and also other Hope Channels like Hope Channel Malawi, Hope Channel Indian Ocean Islands, Hope Channel Namibia, Hope Channel Zimbabwe, and Hope Channel Mozambique, as much as Hope Channel Zambia is feeding us. But you want to praise God that, Hope Channel Zambia, they are actually using media as a tool of evangelism and as a tool of reaching out, as written in the book of Daniel. In the last days, knowledge will increase. And for sure, we can see it increasing. And what a better way to finish this work but by using media as a tool of evangelism. We've got so many difficult places to reach, but television and radio, they are able to reach those places. Thank you so much.
In the media platforms as a way of spreading of the message of salvation. I'm so impressed with the steps that have been taken by Hope Channel. I've just been informed that Hope Channel Zambia has managed to harness huge baptisms as a result of broadcast on TV. And this is the same thing that is happening all over Africa. I think we are counting now up to 10 television stations belonging to Hope Channel. In my mother union, we are also setting up Hope Channel Uganda. There is Hope Channel Tanzania. There is Hope Channel Kenya. We are seeing the spread of Hope Channel all over Africa. Now, as Adventist World Radio, we are also investing very massively in radio broadcast. Just yesterday, we were visiting with Luangwa District, where at the compound of Luangwa Seventh-day Adventist Church, we are doing a broadcast, a transmission of the messages to the communities around. We want to grow the capacity of our radio broadcast in Zambia. And that's the reason why I'm here to meet with the communications department, the leadership of the church. We are doing a survey and determining what we need to do in order to have the message of salvation in every square inch of Zambia.
Adventist World Radio Africa Director says SID has plans to open more radio stations.
Our desire is that every square inch of Zambia can be reached out through the radio broadcast. Whereas a television is also a very good platform, not everyone can have access to a television set. And not everyone can maybe have data all the time to access television on their cell phones or something like that. So radio is still a very cheap platform that almost everyone can have access to, including people in the rural areas. So we're planning to see the areas where our broadcast is not yet reaching, and we're encouraging our union, the leadership of the church, to work so hard towards getting licenses that will enable us to invest in the broadcast. As Adventist World Radio, we come in to help in terms of providing the infrastructure that makes it possible for the broadcast to happen. The studio equipment, the broadcast towers, the masts, that is the area in which we are focusing. So yes, we want to cover every area of Zambia with radio broadcast.
SID Traffic Scheduling and Web Manager Dadi Chitalu has disclosed to Hope News that SID has plans to launch a new device on the market.
Very soon, watch out for a new set-top box. It's a special gadget that SID Media, or Southern Africa Indian Ocean Division, is planning to launch on the market. Why launch this product? We'd like to make it easier for people to watch the Adventist bouquet. So this Adventist bouquet is going to carry all the Adventist-run TV stations that are on satellite, and then we'll deliver that to your home. It will be costing not very much. It will be very cheap. Some of the advantages are it's a PVR. You'll be able to schedule and record any program of your choice, even in your absence. Number two, this thing can also accept internet. So apart from viewing the Adventist bouquet, you will be able to surf and do your research with any of the applications that are common on the website. In addition to that, we would like to encourage the church to be putting and promoting the book of the year using this gadget. For instance, we are moving into the Great Controversy as the book of the year. We plan to launch this. And apart from that, in addition to that, when opening this gadget, it will display the Seventh-day Adventist logo plus the Hope Channel logo. And all the displays are customized. It's either when you are increasing your volume, you get a verse at the bottom whilst you are increasing your volume, or you get a picture of something that is related to the Bible. So this is about this special set-top box that we'd like to introduce to make it easier for people to watch not only Hope Channel Africa, but to watch also the Adventist bouquet.
Hope Channel Director Dr. Chiwena Kabanje is elated with this gesture.
I'm excited to have the visitors from SID, Elder Noel Sibanda and Brother Otieno Mkandawire, who came to introduce a visitor that is visiting the country all the way from Uganda. And this is the manager for Adventist World Radio here in Africa. Now, that's not a small visit. That's a big visit. You have the SID on the campus of Hope Channel Zambia. We have a visitor all the way from Uganda. And these are special blessings that come once in a year. And these people could have been elsewhere, but they decided to grace us with their presence. So I really am excited to have them, and I pray that the Lord will bless them as they remain in the country to do their Father's bidding. They gave us some nice words of counsel and encouragement when we had a short session with them in the boardroom. So this is an epic moment.
It is hopeful that the presence of Hope Channel and Adventist World Radio will be across the world on time. Esna Tsikas with Hope News, Lusaka.
We now go straight into the episode of this week's In Adventist History.
Welcome to This Week in Adventist History. All of this week, 143 years ago, August 21 through 26 in 1879, the first Seventh-day Adventist camp meeting in eastern Canada was held at Magog in the province of Quebec with about 90 in attendance. 10 years later, on August 20 through 27 of 1889, the first Adventist camp meeting in the U.S. state of Arkansas was held. The Arkansas Conference had only been organized the year before with a constituency of 10 local churches comprising 226 members. On August 26, 1847, Henry Nichols White was born. Henry was the eldest son of James and Ellen White and was born in Gorham in the U.S. state of Maine. Henry spent much of his early years in the home of Stockbridge Howland in Topsham, Maine, because his parents were traveling so extensively throughout New England and New York. James and Ellen referred to Henry as our sweet singer because of his clear, full tenor voice and his love of music. Sadly, Henry died of pneumonia aged just 16 years old on December 8, 1863. He was deeply mourned by his parents. Also on August 26, but 151 years later in 1998, Lowell R. Rasmussen passed away at the age of 91 years old. Born in Ceres, California in 1907, Rasmussen graduated from Pacific Union College in 1930 and soon after married Vera Hills. They went on to have 3 daughters. Lowell was sequentially principal of Humboldt Academy, Golden Gate Academy, and Lodi Academy, all in the Northern California Conference, before in 1941 he was called to be the Educational Department Secretary, the equivalent today of Education Director, for the Southeastern California Conference. Rasmussen was in that office only a year when he was appointed president of La Sierra College, today's La Sierra University, serving in that position for 4 years, until called to the General Conference as Associate Education Secretary in 1946. He was at the General Conference for 13 years, until in 1959 he became the Educational Department Secretary for the Pacific Union Conference, in which position he served for 12 years, before retiring in 1971. That was This Week in Seventh-day Adventist History.
On that note, we end our news for today, but before we go, here is a look at our top stories. Lack of a dormitory at Mulungwe School compels pupils to sleep in a classroom. MP calls farmers not to sell all their maize to agencies. EZF president calls to end malaria. SID and AWR pay courtesy call to Hope Channel Zambia. On behalf of the entire production team, we are now saying goodbye. I was your anchor for today, Delaine Mayuka, and my sign language interpreter was George KalimukwaHope. Please keep watching Hope Channel Zambia, television that changes lives. Stay blessed.
Seventh-day Adventists are wonderful